Okay, so we are still on the board with our bear hide. Part of the reason that I like to use these pallets is because they have spaces between, so it gets air from the back as well as the front. So we went ahead and got enough drawing done yesterday that we actually put string through the lower lip and stretched it up here so we could pull the head up so we can expose the ears, because the ears were flat against the board, and you need to get them some airflow and so a little bit of sunlight. Really, I told everybody to not put this out in the sun, but what you don't want to do is have it out there too long, too bright, when the oil starts getting moving, and that's not good. So anyway, we had a little bit of slippage of the hair on the back of the ear, so we actually just went ahead and worked some salt into the fur and salted the inside of the ear more heavily. But picking this up and lifting this up, and the ears are half as wet as they were yesterday. We did leave the pelt out too long last night and lost a little bit of progress. You need to, as soon as it starts getting before dusk, really, and I waited till long after sunset because I was busy. But you want to get it put back away before dusk. It's actually sleeping in the house now because it doesn't lose the progress that it loses by putting it in the shed. It's no longer leaking on the floor. I call it peeing on the floor. So as long as the bear isn't peeing on the floor, you don't have to worry about where you're going to put it. All you're going to get for contamination is just a little bit of salt falls off on the floor as you're moving it in and out. But all of the hands still look good, and everything looks good. I've actually stuck something inside of the head, an ice cream container namely, that's empty. First you go buy some ice cream, and then you empty it, and you stick, and it's just the right size to stick in the bear head to kind of shape it, because it was trying to be kind of flat and funky looking. So for our next bear, we have to go buy some ice cream immediately as a celebratory, and so just mostly so you have something to put in the bear's mouth. But if you're going to put an object in there like that to kind of puff it out so it'll dry a little bit better, don't put too big an object or a weird shaped object, and B, make sure that you check around the object to make sure you're still drying okay, because the head was not completely dry and you're kind of shutting off the airflow, so be aware of that. And I barely caught this with the ear. I had already lifted it up yesterday so that the ears could start drying, but I barely caught that it was having a problem, that I was down there real close to it and caught a little bit of an odor and found a few hairs were trying to slip away. So you really, really want to watch it close, or you can lose something. It's important as your ear hair, because you don't want to lose the ear hair. That's part of the way it looks. But this has been an update. We're going to probably knock the salt off and take it off tomorrow with any good luck. We maybe could have took it off today, but if I hadn't left it out too long last night, and because it's salted, it starts to draw moisture from the night air. So that's what happened with that. So and the hands are getting really, really, really good progress. They're twice as dry as they were yesterday around the fingers where I showed you guys to salt the outside. So we're making good progress. We're getting there. And once we can get rid of this big old board, then you can even take it off of there and then lay it out even more to dry outside in the good weather. But one thing that I should have told you guys, and I ended up having to do that on this one, use a pallet if you can because of the holes on the back with the airflow, but B, tipping the pelt upside down like this with the head down was not the best way to do it, because all of this moisture from up here drained down the pelt and into the head, okay? The only reason I ended up having to do that way is I had tacked the back feet up here, and I had tacked it over the back of the board, and therefore I couldn't set it the other way. And then around the side, I had the foot around the side. So if you can, the shortest distance is actually better. If you can put it sideways, then it has less distance that moisture is traveling down the pelt. And also it's not leaking onto the head. And you would have been free of it leaking onto the hands and all this kind of stuff. So sideways would have been better if I hadn't had my feet around the side, and upside down would have been preferable to, or right side up sooner, would have been preferable to the head down. So those are just a few tips that I've learned along the way that helps you to dry more quickly, but just wasn't working in this particular circumstance. But we can always try to do better next time and think things through a little bit more. But partly we were constrained by the size of the bear, and she was pretty much maxing out my my board. So stay tuned. Hopefully the next time you see us, we will have the pelt off. I'm just sharing with you the struggles and the trials and error of doing your bear pelt, and having to watch it closely for the trouble spots like the ears and the paws, where you can run into trouble real fast, even when you are watching. Stay tuned.